Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I am going to be moving a toilet for this bathroom reno. Now, to move a toilet is not really difficult. In my case, I do have a crawl space to work with. If this was a basement toilet, then you'd have to score the concrete before chipping it up and then replace the concrete after. But for this bathroom, the homeowner asked to move the toilet because the bathroom is so small, but really the only thing that you need to keep in mind is the dimensions for the toilet, move the water and the drain, and that is it. I mean, it's relatively simple. I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing in the world, but it depends on your technical ability. So what we'll do now is we'll look at our bathroom, our layout, and then we'll do material and tools. Alright, so this is our old toilet. You can see the imprint here. There's our water. So I'm going to eliminate this, and then we're going to put the new toilet right there. So I drilled a hole to mark the center, but water will have to be moved. The flange will rip this out, and then the new flooring will cover the hole, and then we'll install our new flange there, put our toilet there, and then we'll be back in business. So guys, what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright guys, this is our material list. So I've got my toilet kit. So this has my wax seal, which is here, T-bolts, brass screws. I have one Mickey clip for the water line to come out of the floor. I got a Sweat by PEX adapter, a stop scutcheon, a shark bite cap to temporarily cap off the water line, PEX pipe. For drainage for ABS, I've got 3-inch pipe back there. ABS glue. I've got a couple 45s because I don't know what I need. I have a solid floor flange. This one is solid, it's a one piece. So there's no swivel. This is an offset floor flange in case I wind up being on a joist and I need to move the drainage over. So the actual flange part here, you can see how it moves. Guys, we'll talk about this in a moment once the material is all done here, because there is something that I learned and I want to pass that information on to you. So if I use the offset floor flange, I have a straight 45, also known as the fitting 45. So this is a hub that'll fit inside here if it needs to. I got a 3-inch 90, and then I have my PEX kit. So that'll be rings, talons, and anything else for a water pipe for the toilet. Guys, this is what I believe I need for material. But really quickly, we'll take a look at these toilet flanges before we do the tools list. Alright, so this is a solid flange. Here, it's solid all the way around. It's one piece. This is what you'll normally use for a toilet flange. Now, this is a swivel flange. Because this is an offset, you may have to turn the way the offset goes. But because you have a gap here, a ring all the way around to allow this to swivel, this was what happened when I had to do the flange replacement without cutting drywall, because the T-bolts here and here, I think what happened was they started to pull up here, leaving a space. Guys, don't use one of these types of swivel rotary type flanges if you don't need to. Stick with a solid flange like this, because it's one piece. You're not going to have water that could possibly go down here. But with that in mind, what we'll do now is the tools list. All right, this is our tools list. So I have my torch, I have my finishing kit, so tube cutters, crescent wrench, ratchet wrenches. I have a jigsaw, blades, crimpers, a light, hand tool, some measuring tape, nail bar, hammer, hacksaw, extension cord, and then my cordless kit. Guys, this is what I believe I need for tools for this job, so let's get started. Alright, so for a flange, which is here, so off a finished wall, so this is drywall, off a finished wall, you need to have, for a standard install, you need to have 12 inches. So I've marked this at 12.5. We generally give ourselves an extra ½ inch just for any variation. From the side wall here to the flange, you need to have a minimum of 15 inches. So I've done this right at 15 inches because the cabinet is going to be 36, so it actually works. So this will be right in the middle, but 15 inches is your minimum. So we'll measure 4 inches. And then we'll use our flange. And then that is what we're going to cut out. So I'll use the jigsaw to cut the hole in the floor. Guys, this jigsaw is older than I am. Make sure that you have earplugs and eye protection. Alright, so this is our hole. We have a joist right here. We missed it. So make sure that the hub will move nice and freely like this. I have done it where this hole has been too tight and it actually changed the shape of the flange. So it was a little bit squished, and then I couldn't get my pipe in. So don't have an overly tight fit like this. Will work perfectly fine. Alright, so this is our main water. I'll shut it off. Now go upstairs, open a couple fixtures. The bathroom where we're working, and then I'll probably open up something in the other bathroom, and that's going to allow air into the system to drain out the water. So this is the crawl space. The ABS on the left is the current toilet. This is the water line for the toilet that will be cut using a grinder. I'm going to adapt into PEX and then send it to the corner. The hole where the cord is coming down is the new hole for the flange. So in this space here with the yellow insulation is where the toilet line is going to come up. So be aware, because this is a crawl space, there will be water still in the pipe. So after you cut it, give the water a little bit of time to drip out. This will also be an issue when soldering on the sweat by PEX adapters. The water will have to be boiled off before that can be done. This is typical prep work for soldering. Ream, clean, flux, and then solder. In this case, I cut the pipe first because I thought that'd be easier than trying to clean it when it is still clipped to the ceiling. You can see the water that is still in the pipe by the mist. Alright, with the soldering done, I'm going to open the main water here. Alright, I went around and I closed all the open fixtures. So we're now going to crack open our main. And now, unfortunately, since I can't be way over there, I need to watch from here to see if I see any dripping. Okay, so our PRV here is silent. I don't hear any more water flowing through it. So now I'll open it all the way and give it a quarter turn back in. But I don't see anything dripping from a distance over here. I'm gonna go clean up my stuff and then I'll check. Guys, once again, make sure that you fill up the house very slowly. This may take a little bit of time, but if you fill up your house too fast, you can develop pinhole leaks, and then you have another problem on your hands. Measuring off of the, there's a joist right here. So measuring off of the hot from in the crawl space, off the wall, 6 inches is a joist. So we have a joist going across right here. So the edge of my toilet line I'm going to have just on the edge of the joist. Guys, always think ahead on how you want to install something. But from the center of the flange, what we'll do is we'll go 6 over. and then I'm going to say about 5 1/4 up, and the joist going along here will miss that, and then we'll have our toilet line come up there. Alright, so this is our flange. So because this is just going to be laminate flooring, I'm just going to screw the flange straight to the subfloor, the plywood. If there was tile going on, I would use 1/2-inch PEX rings, and then I would slide them underneath where the holes are, and that would prop the flange up a little bit to take up the difference for the tile. But since this is just a laminate flooring, we don't have to do that. So to set our flange, it's 12 1/2. So we want 12 1/2 to be here. 12 1/2 is right there. So that gives us a little bit of play. Guys, don't do it like this, otherwise your toilet is going to be installed like that. And now we'll always double check, because it's easier to fix it now than it is later on. Alright, so we got 15 in the center. 12 1/2, 12 1/2 are flanges now screwed down tight. So what we'll do is go into the crawl space and then repipe our 3-inch to our new flange. Okay, so that is our new toilet there. This is our vent, so we have a 90 for the old one. So between the toilet and the vent, at least here in Canada, you can only have 225 degrees of change, which is 2 90s and a 45. So that 90 is 90 degrees of change. So I would be allowed to do another 90 and a 45. Guys, keep in mind on horizontal, it all has to be 45 degree fittings. You can't use a 90 on horizontal. This is the one exception in a drainage system, is under a toilet, because you have a big gush of water that goes down with it. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I would do this. Unfortunately, because this is a crawl space, it's not the most convenient place to show you how to do this, but in either case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mock-up. I'm going to throw my 90 over there. I'm going to have my piece come here, and then I'm going to eye out my 45. And then I'm going to cut my piece, glue it all together, and make sure this all works. So really quickly, just to check grade, I should have my increment level, but I don't. So we have a full bubble, which means we have lots of grade, lots of slope, that is. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and I'll pipe this together. At least this will be relatively easy because it's a crawl space and there's lots of space to work. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plumb the vertical piece of pipe. Right there is plumb both ways. Yeah. So I've got a dry fit 90, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the 90 onto the piece of pipe, and then with the 45, I'm going to eye out the end of the fitting with the pipe, and then I can turn this thing back and forth to figure out where I need to be. Guys, this is purely going to be eyeing it out. There's nothing for measurements or anything of that nature to figure out where to be with this. So by looking at the edge of the hub and the pipe, you want them to be remotely lined up, but it can be difficult, and this is just something of experience. Alright, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have my tape parallel to the side of the fitting. Guys, don't have your tape like this because that's going to throw you off. So I'm going to have it parallel to the side of the fitting like this, and then I'm going to line this up and this up, and then see where the fitting needs to be. So I'm going to reuse this strap. By today's code, this needs to be 3/4 strap. This is half. But it's ABS pipe anyway, so I don't see what the issue is. Cast iron. I mean, I think the screw would pull out of the wood before the strap would snap. Guys, one other thing is, because this is a used sewer line, don't go sticking your hands inside. Keep it to the outside. Also, wear gloves. And now we'll do a quick dry fit and see how we line up. So give it a spin and put it level on the edge of the pipe, and then check your grade. And now once again for this, we're going to check our plumb to make sure it's still straight. That looks good, that looks good. And now we're going to take this measurement from here to here. And guys, one other thing, when you put your fitting on, give it a turn and hold it on for about 10 seconds. Otherwise the fitting will have the tendency to want to push itself off. I'm going to run the water line for the toilet now before the vertical piece of ABS is glued into the flange, because it's easier before that is installed. So I'm just going to clip to the bottom of the joist, as well as I'm going to swoop the pipe instead of using a 90, so there will be better flow. I put the Mickey into the floor, the clip into the floor, as per Canadian code. If you come up through a floor, you need a clip. Alright, so we're going to put on our straight stop. The water has already been shut off. And make sure the valve is also shut off. So this is the final product. This is an American Standard one-piece toilet. I moved it from there, and it has now been moved a few feet over to its current place. I'm now waiting on the vanity, but the toilet is done. Everything looks good. It's running. I've tested it. Nothing's leaking. I'm very happy with this. Alright, so that concludes this project. So this was a relatively straightforward project. With the crawl space, everything was really easy to get to. Water had to be moved, the drain had to be moved. One thing to keep in mind is the degrees of change between the vent and the toilet itself, but that was not an issue in this case. I wouldn't say this is a difficult job. Just make sure that your dimensions for your flange are correct. Otherwise, your toilet won't fit, and then that'll be a pain to have to go and fix. The time on this job. The time was about 5 hours. Everything went well. I didn't run into any problems. I ran into no hiccups along the way, so I'm very happy with the way this went. The cost of this job. The fittings, glue, and pipe. The cost was about $80. That doesn't include the toilet because I didn't supply the toilet. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.